Hey everyone, so today's service is a little different. We're not diving into a traditional teaching from the Gospel of Luke, but instead, we're taking this time to reflect on the blessings from the past year. It's our annual Thanksgiving service, where we get to look back and celebrate everything God has been doing here at the church. And here's the thing, we really want to share this with you, because you all are a huge part of making God known through what we do here. This is about giving thanks, sharing how God has worked in and through us, and celebrating the role you play in that. Alright, so here's something we've been trying to do better over the years. And I'll be honest with you, in the past, I didn't always get it right. One of the things we've always tried to do here at the church is to give God the glory, right? That's the main thing. God gets all the glory. That's our heart. But here's where we ran into a bit of a challenge. There are so many amazing things happening in and through this church, and I realized that by not sharing these things, we were actually robbing you, the congregation, of the joy of seeing and celebrating what God is doing. It's like when you don't tell someone about a miracle happening around them, they can miss out on being part of that miracle, and that's what I didn't want. Because it's not about us. It's not about saying, look at what we're doing. It's not about the church getting glory or attention. It's all about what God is doing, and we want to make sure He gets the credit. We want to make sure that, in the end, He gets all the praise. But at the same time, we want to make sure you, as a part of this church, are aware of how your prayers, your generosity, and your involvement are making a real difference. You see, without you, none of this would be possible. You're all a vital part of what God is doing here, and that's why it's important to let you in on what's been happening so you can see that your faithfulness is having a massive impact. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, well, that sounds like a fine line to walk, and you're right, it is. It can feel a bit tricky. On one hand, we don't want to ever get into the danger zone of becoming self-congratulatory, right? It's easy to fall into that trap of focusing on the good things we're doing. And before you know it, we start sounding like we're patting ourselves on the back. We don't want that. But at the same time, I've learned that by not sharing enough, we're actually leaving you in the dark. And that's not fair to you. How can you celebrate what God is doing if you don't know what He's doing? So we've been working hard at striking that balance, making sure God gets all the glory, but also giving you a chance to hear and see what's happening so you can join in the celebration. And that's why we're here today. Right? This is the moment where we get to look back on the year, to take a deep breath and say, wow, look at what God has done. Not look at what we've done, but look at what God has done. And it's important that we do this together as a church family, because this isn't about one person, one ministry, or even one team. It's about the body of Christ, all of us working together to make Him known. That's the mission. It's not about building our own name or reputation. It's about sharing the love of Christ with our community, with the world, and bringing people into the fold. So, for example, when we talk about the ways this church has served our community over the past year, whether it's through food distributions, outreach events, or supporting international missions, it's easy to get caught up in the we did this, we did that language. But again, that's not the point. The point is to show you how your involvement, your giving, your prayers, and your volunteer hours have been instrumental in all of this. We wouldn't be able to do any of it without you. And so, when we share those stories, it's about celebrating the work God has done through all of us together. For instance, take our outreach efforts. Over the past year, we've been able to bless thousands of families locally with food and supplies, right? And we've done that through partnerships with local police departments, through events like the Harvest Party and Operation Christmas Child, and through your generosity. But when we share those stories, it's not to boast about the numbers. It's to say, hey, look at how God has used us as a church to meet needs. And it's not just about us in the building. It's about the lives we've touched, the hearts we've reached, and the way we've made God's love tangible in our community. And there's this other part of the story too, where we reach out globally. You all know that we don't just focus on local outreach. We also partner with ministries all over the world, from sending Christmas boxes to children in refugee camps, to helping support missionaries in places like Afghanistan and China. Our reach is far beyond our immediate area. And again, it's not about the church being praised for doing that work. It's about highlighting how God is using us to be a light in dark places. You see, the global outreach efforts are a powerful example of how God can take a small church with a big heart and make an impact that stretches across the globe. And you, the congregation, are the ones who make that happen. Your prayers, your financial support, and your willingness to give make all of this possible. But here's the thing, we also don't want to paint a picture of a church that's got everything figured out. That's not us. We're still growing, still learning, and still figuring things out as we go. There are still areas where we can improve, and we're always looking for ways to better serve God and our community. We want to learn from the past, learn from our experiences, and be good stewards of what God has given us. That's why it's important to look back on the past year, not just to pat ourselves on the back, but to reflect on what went well, where we've seen growth, and where we need to keep working. So even as we give thanks for what God has done, we're also asking for His guidance as we continue to move forward. And that's what this whole service today is about. It's about you and me together, recognizing what God has done, celebrating His faithfulness, and giving Him the glory He deserves. It's about making sure we're all on the same page, celebrating the victories, acknowledging the hard work, and giving credit where credit is due, always pointing back to God. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's not about our church's success or growth. It's about God's kingdom expanding, and we're just privileged to be a part of it. So, as we reflect on the past year, I want you to think about your role in this. How have you contributed? How have you been a part of what God is doing here? Maybe it's through your prayers, your time, your service, or your financial giving. Maybe it's been through your encouragement, or just being a part of this family. Whatever it is, you've played a part. And I want you to know that your efforts, your faithfulness, and your involvement matter. They make a difference. And they are part of what God is doing in this place. And let me just say this one more time. This is not about us. It's not about building our own name. It's about making His name known. It's about being faithful to the calling He's placed on our lives and doing it with all our hearts. So, as we move forward, let's keep that focus. Let's keep making Him known through everything we do for His glory. Because when all is said and done, that's the only thing that matters. All right, now let's dive into some of the ministries that have really been making a difference here. We've got so many incredible groups, each with their own unique focus and goals, but all united in one thing, making God known. And that's what it's all about, right? It's not about the programs or the activities themselves. It's about the lives that are being touched, the hearts that are being changed, and the love of Christ that's being shared through all these ministries. So let's start with the youngest among us, the children's ministry. This ministry is, without a doubt, one of the most important ones we have. After all, these kids are the future of the church, right? And what's amazing is that this ministry isn't just about keeping the kids busy during services. It's about planting seeds in their hearts, teaching them about the love of Jesus in a way that makes sense to them at their level. Last winter, we reopened our children's ministry after a break, and we're so thankful for that. We had to adapt, but the impact has been incredible. We're now serving around 800 children every single week. That's right, 800 kids are hearing the message of Jesus, learning His truth, and being nurtured in their faith. And it's not just about teaching them, it's about raising up a generation that will carry the gospel forward. We also held our vacation Bible school this year, which was such a blessing. After a 1-year absence due to COVID, we were able to open up VBS again, and this time, we even broadcast the opening services on YouTube, allowing people from out of state to join us. Over 500 children attended that week, and we saw over 100 new believers who took home Bibles after praying to receive Jesus. And I've got to say, the volunteers who make all of this happen are just amazing. They give so much of their time and energy to make sure these kids not only have fun, but that they're hearing the gospel and learning to love Jesus. Next, let's talk about our middle school ministry. This group has been on fire this year, and I couldn't be more proud of what they're doing. Middle schoolers can be a tough age, but this ministry is really connecting with them and helping them navigate the challenges they face. In addition to their regular weekly meetings, this year, they've been part of some incredible events and service projects. One of the things that really stands out to me is how they've been involved in small groups. Every week, 110 students gather in gender and age-specific small groups, where they dive deep into the lessons from Sunday, ask questions, and just get real with each other. It's been such a blessing to see them open up and grow in their faith together. And it doesn't stop there. These middle schoolers have been out in the community serving as well. They've helped sort and distribute clothes for people in need, sent cards, and offered help to widows in our congregation through an initiative we call the Javelins of Joy, and even pitched in with yard work for elderly members of the church. They've really stepped up, and I think that's so amazing. Yeah, and of course, we can't forget the summer camps. This is always a highlight for the kids, a time to get away, bond, and deepen their relationship with God. We've seen amazing growth in our students' lives, both spiritually and personally, through these camps. Moving on to the high school ministry, I can't even begin to describe how powerful this year has been. You know, high schoolers are at such a crucial point in their lives, and the ministry has been such an anchor for so many of them. They've had some incredible events this year, including a huge party at the park with over 300 students and a winter retreat that sparked a revival in the hearts of our students. At that retreat, over a dozen students gave their lives to Christ, and many more rededicated themselves to the Lord. And that's what it's all about, right? It's not just about fun events or big gatherings, it's about lives being transformed. And we've seen that in a big way this year. The high schoolers are also learning to serve others, whether it's helping with church projects like Operation Christmas Child or getting involved in community outreach. They've really embraced the idea of serving and making a difference. And just like the middle schoolers, they also get that time at summer camp to grow spiritually and just have a blast. This ministry is truly thriving, and I'm excited to see what's ahead for these students as they continue to grow in their faith. Now, let's talk about our young adult ministry, and if you've been a part of this group, you know how vibrant and passionate they are. This year, in addition to their weekly services on Monday nights, they've held their own conference with guest speakers, and they've gathered for their own night of worship. There's something so powerful about seeing a group of young adults come together to worship and grow in their faith. They're in that season of life where they're figuring out what it means to live for God in the world around them, and this ministry is giving them the tools and support they need. They also have a tradition of holding an annual Friendsgiving service and meal, which has been a great way for them to connect with each other, build relationships, and invite friends who might not otherwise come to church. It's been so encouraging to see them grow in their faith, in their friendships, and in their service to others. The women's ministry is another area where we've seen some incredible things happen. This year, the women have been meeting weekly on Tuesday mornings and evenings to read through books of the Bible together. Not only that, but women from 25 states and even some from other countries have been joining these groups online, which is just amazing. They've been gathering together to pray, to study, and to encourage one another. The women's ministry also offers discipleship groups, which have been growing and thriving as well. There's something so special about the way these women are building each other up and lifting each other up in prayer. And speaking of prayer, the women's prayer ministry is a huge part of what's been happening here. They meet regularly to pray for the needs of the church, for pastors, for marriages, for healing, and so much more. It's been incredible to see how the women of this church have become such a powerful force in prayer, and I know God is moving through them in a big way. And of course, the women's ministry also holds fellowship events throughout the year, which are always a blessing. The relationships that are built through these gatherings are truly special. And I can't forget about the men's ministry. These guys have been so faithful this year, gathering together for steak and study breakfasts, annual cookouts, and special teachings geared toward men. One of the highlights of the year was the men's conference, which was held in Maryland. There, the men came together for worship, teaching, and fellowship, and it was such a powerful time of connection. There's something about the men of this church coming together to support each other and grow in their faith that's truly inspiring. And let's be real, these guys know how to have fun too. They take time to play together, pose for some funny pictures, and just enjoy each other's company. But through it all, they're also learning to be better husbands, fathers, and leaders in the church and in the community. And lastly, our special needs ministry. This is a ministry that's near and dear to my heart, and we're so grateful for the incredible work being done here. The Special Needs Ministry holds their own Sunday school classes, stays in touch with each other online, and even brings in guest speakers to encourage and teach. These individuals are just as much a part of the church family as anyone else. And it's such a blessing to see them grow in their faith and connect with one another. And just like the other ministries, they're involved in church projects too, helping out with things like Operation Christmas Child Boxes. It's a beautiful thing to see how the church family comes together to serve and love on one another, no matter what our differences are. As you can see, each of these ministries has a huge impact, not just on the people who are directly involved, but on the community as a whole. The goal is the same across all of them: to make God known, to share His love, and to grow in faith together. And let me tell you, it's been a privilege to see how each of these ministries has grown and to see how they've touched so many lives. These ministries are truly the heartbeat of the church, and it's through them that we're able to reach so many people, whether it's kids, teenagers, young adults, or adults of all ages. Well, I'm so thankful for all the leaders, volunteers, and participants who make these ministries happen, and I'm excited to see how God continues to move in these areas in the future. Alright, so let's talk about one of the most important aspects of our church's ministry, our local and global outreach efforts. I can't tell you how incredible it is to see the church stepping up to meet the needs of both our community and the world. And when I say the world, I really mean it. We are making a difference both near and far, and it's all because of the heart of this church, the heart of the congregation, and the willingness to step out and serve. This is the part where we truly see how God's love can transcend boundaries, whether they be geographical, cultural, or even personal. Locally, we've had a real impact. For instance, one of the areas where we've seen God move powerfully is through our food distribution efforts. Every year, as we participate in food drives and distribution events that directly help families in our own community, we've partnered with local organizations, including law enforcement, and to make sure that we are able to provide food for those who are in need. This year, we saw a tremendous increase in the number of families that we were able to serve, and it was amazing to witness the impact of that generosity. We estimate that around 7,000 families were helped this year alone through various food distribution efforts, including our holiday initiatives and other community outreach programs. That's 7,000 families who were able to experience the love of God in a tangible way, and it's all because of your generosity. What's really special about these food distribution events is how they bring together different parts of the community. We didn't do this work alone. We've partnered with local law enforcement agencies, which has really helped create a strong connection between the church and the community. When the police officers and volunteers from the church come together to serve side by side, it sends a powerful message that we are all working together to care for those who are struggling. It's not about us versus them. It's about the body of Christ working together to make an impact. And it's been such a blessing to see how the police, the church, and community members have come together to make a real difference. We've also had the privilege of participating in one of our largest outreach events, Operation Christmas Child. This is something we've done for years, and each year it gets bigger and better. Last year, we packed over 5,000 boxes for children in need, and those boxes went to children in countries all over the world. Each box represents a gift of love, and it's incredible to think about how many children's lives have been touched through this simple act of giving. When you think about the impact of these boxes, it's more than just the physical items inside them. They carry the message of Jesus, the hope that comes from the gospel, and the love of Christ. For every box that goes out, we're not just helping a child get a Christmas gift, we're helping them experience God's love in a very real and personal way. But our local outreach efforts aren't limited to food and Christmas boxes. We've also done a lot of work in helping people who are facing different kinds of hardships. For example, we've worked with the homeless in our area, offering support through local shelters and food programs. It's been amazing to see how the church has come together to meet the needs of these individuals. Whether it's serving meals, providing hygiene kits, or just being a listening ear, we are constantly looking for ways to show God's love to those who are struggling in our own backyard. As much as we've been able to do here locally, our reach extends far beyond our own community. God has given us the opportunity to be a part of some incredible global outreach efforts, and it's been amazing to see the church's impact on a worldwide scale. One of the ways we've been involved globally is through partnerships with international missionaries and organizations. This year, we have been able to support 21 missionary families across 5 continents, and it's incredible to see how God is using these families to spread the gospel in places where it's desperately needed. For example, in Afghanistan, we have been supporting missionaries who have stayed behind despite the risks of living under the Taliban's control. These brave individuals are ministering to a community of believers in secret, providing them with food, supplies, and most importantly, the message of Jesus Christ. They are literally putting their lives on the line for the sake of the gospel, and we are honored to be able to support them. In China, we've been working with an organization that supports underground Christian communities. You may have heard that it's illegal to practice Christianity openly in China, but despite the challenges, the church there is growing. We've been able to support children's camps in China where young people are being taught about the love of Jesus in secret. The work that's being done in places like this is vital, and we're privileged to be able to help fund these efforts. In addition to these efforts in Afghanistan and China, we've also been supporting missionary work in other countries around the world. For example, in Guatemala, we've helped build a new children's center in a community that's in great need. The children in this community come from families that live in poverty, and by providing them with a safe place to learn and grow, we are giving them the opportunity to hear about Jesus and experience his love. And in Haiti, we've been able to finish the construction of a medical center that's providing much needed healthcare to the local population. In fact, the very first medical team arrived there recently to offer care, and it's a beautiful thing to see how God is using this facility to make a real difference in the lives of the people in that area. And it's not just about the physical needs. As we meet these needs, we're also sharing the gospel. In fact, every time a box goes out for Operation Christmas Child, we're helping children experience the love of Jesus. Every time we build a school or a medical center, we're not just building a physical structure, we're building a place where the gospel can be shared and lives can be transformed. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about reaching people with the message of Christ, meeting their physical needs, and showing them the love of God in a practical way. One of the most amazing things about our global outreach efforts is how we've been able to partner with other ministries and organizations that are already doing incredible work. For example, we've partnered with a ministry that serves refugee children in the United States. Many of these children have come from countries torn apart by war, and we've been able to provide them with Christmas boxes, school supplies, and other gifts. It's been such a blessing to see how we've been able to help these children feel loved and supported as they adjust to life in the US. And the work doesn't stop there. We're also looking to the future and asking, how can we do more? We're always exploring new opportunities to help those in need, whether it's locally, nationally, or internationally. We've got teams working on new projects, new partnerships, and new ways to make a difference in the world. And I'm excited about what's ahead. God has been so faithful, and he continues to open doors for us to serve in new ways. As we look ahead to the future, we want to continue to focus on helping those who are in need. Whether it's feeding the hungry, providing medical care, or supporting refugees, we want to be a church that is known for serving others. We want to be a church that is making a difference in the world, not just through our words, but through our actions. And as we continue to be faithful in serving locally and globally, I believe God will continue to bless our efforts and open up new opportunities for us to make an even bigger impact. So, as we look back on all that we've accomplished together in this past year, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your generosity, your time, your prayers, and your service. It's because of you that we've been able to make such a big difference, both locally and globally. And as we continue to serve, let's keep our eyes on the mission that God has given us. Let's continue to make His name known, and let's continue to reach out to those who need His love, because when we do that, we're not just changing lives here, and now we're changing eternity. As we look ahead to the future, I can't help but feel excited and full of anticipation for what God is going to do in and through this church. You know, when we think about the work God has already done here, how far we've come, how many lives have been touched, how many people have come to know Christ, it's incredible. But here's the thing, God's not done with us yet. We're still growing, still evolving, and still looking for new ways to be faithful to the calling He's placed on our lives. The work isn't over, it's just beginning. One of the major things that we've been praying about and discussing for the future is the possibility of starting a Christian school. This is something that has been on our hearts for a while now, and we believe that this is the direction God is leading us. We live in a time when there are so many challenges facing our children, especially in the area of education. As you may know, many schools have shifted in ways that don't align with the values we hold dear. Issues like the sexualization of education, gender identity policies, and even critical race theory are being pushed in many public schools across the country. And while we want to be a light in the midst of this darkness, we also believe it's time for us to take a more proactive step. A Christian school could provide a safe, faith-based environment where children can learn not only academic subjects, but also grow in their faith. We're in the midst of a 90-day feasibility study right now to see how this project could become a reality, and we're asking for your prayers. This is a huge undertaking, and we need God's guidance every step of the way. We believe that this Christian school could be a place where students not only excel academically, but also have a foundation in God's Word. In a world that's constantly changing and full of challenges, we want to provide a place where children can be equipped to face the world with confidence and faith. And it's not just about academics, it's about raising up the next generation of believers who will carry the torch of the gospel forward. That's our vision for this school, and we're trusting God to open the doors if this is His will. At the same time, we're also looking to expand our global outreach efforts. The world is changing rapidly, and there are more opportunities than ever to make a difference on a global scale. Over the past few years, we've seen how God has opened doors for us to partner with ministries in places like Afghanistan, China, Haiti, Guatemala, and so many others. And we're excited about what's to come. Our heart is to continue to support missionaries, churches, and organizations around the world that are sharing the gospel and making an impact in their communities. Whether it's helping to build a school in a rural village, providing medical care in a developing country, or sending Christmas boxes to children in refugee camps, we want to continue to be a church that is known for its generosity and its heart for missions. But it's not just about the big projects and the global initiatives. We want to make sure that we're continuing to adapt to the changing needs right here in our own community. We know that the needs are great, and we want to be a church that is constantly looking for ways to serve, to love, and to give, whether it's feeding the hungry, supporting single mothers, or helping those who are homeless. We want to be a church that is making a difference in our community, and I believe we are. But as we look ahead, we want to keep our hearts open to what God might be calling us to do next. What are the needs we don't even know about yet? What are the opportunities that are just waiting for us to step into? We want to be a church that is responsive to the changing landscape, that is always ready to act when God calls us to serve. Another area where we're really focusing our efforts is providing opportunities for prayer, service, and generosity. We believe that these are the three pillars of the church prayer service and generosity, and we want to keep strengthening these areas. And when it comes to prayer, we want to be a church that is constantly seeking God's guidance, that is constantly praying for His will to be done in our lives and in our community. We want to provide more opportunities for people to come together and pray, to lift up the needs of the church, the community, and the world. Prayer is powerful, and we believe that God answers the prayers of His people. And so, we're going to continue to prioritize prayer in everything we do. When it comes to service, we know that the church is not just a place to gather on Sundays. It's a place where we serve others, where we use our gifts and talents to make a difference. And that's what we want to encourage more opportunities for service. We want to continue offering ways for people to serve both in the church and in the community, whether it's volunteering with a ministry, helping with outreach events, or just serving a neighbor in need. We want to be a church that is known for its heart to serve. We want to create a culture where serving others is not just something we do, it's who we are. And as we look to the future, we're going to keep finding ways to make service a central part of everything we do. Generosity is another key area for us. God has blessed us so much, and we want to be a church that reflects His generosity. Whether it's giving financially to support the work of the church, donating supplies for outreach events, or simply being generous with our time and resources, we want to be a church that is known for its open hands. We believe that when we give, God multiplies what we give, and He uses it to bless others. And we want to encourage all of you to continue being faithful in your generosity. Because the truth is, the more we give, the more God uses our gifts to bless others and expand His kingdom. Now, as we move forward with these plans, I want to ask for your prayers. This is a big step for our church, and we need God's wisdom and direction. We don't want to do anything unless it's exactly what God is calling us to do. So, please, pray for the Christian school, pray for the global outreach efforts, pray for the continued growth of our local ministries, and pray for God's guidance in every step we take. We want His will to be done, and we want to be faithful in whatever He asks of us. And as we pray for these things, I also want to remind you of something: these plans, these dreams for the future, they don't happen without all of us. This is not something just for the leaders or the pastors to do. It's something we all get to be a part of. We are the body of Christ, and when we come together in prayer, in service, and in generosity, we see God move in incredible ways. So, as we look ahead, let's keep our eyes on the mission. Let's stay focused on the calling, and let's continue to make God known in everything we do. I'm excited for what's ahead. I believe God is going to do amazing things through this church, but we need to stay on our knees. We need to stay faithful, and we need to keep trusting God with everything we have. So let's pray together, let's believe together, and let's see what God will do as we step into the future He has for us. As we wrap up today's service, I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for your continued support and faithfulness. You are the heart and soul of this church, and everything we've been able to accomplish this past year is because of your generosity, your prayers, and your willingness to serve. We truly couldn't do this without you, and we are so grateful for all the ways you've been a part of what God is doing here. It's amazing to see how God has moved in our lives and in this church, and it's all thanks to you. Before we go, I just want to encourage you to stay connected. If you haven't already, make sure to follow along with what's happening here at the church, whether through social media, our website, or simply by staying in touch during our services. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up, and we want you to be part of it. Also, if today's message has inspired you, or if you felt led to support the work that's being done, we'd love for you to continue to stay involved, whether it's through prayer, giving, or volunteering. Your support makes a real difference. And one last thing, if you've enjoyed today's service, don't forget to give us a like or follow. It's a simple way to stay up to date with everything we're doing here, and it helps others connect with the work we're doing in the community and around the world. So as we close, let's continue to pray for God's guidance as we move forward together, and let's keep being faithful in our generosity and service. We are truly blessed to be a part of what God is doing here, and I'm excited to see what He has in store for the future. Thanks again for being here, and God bless you all.